So welcome back, everybody. Have you ever seen anything like this? Me either. All right, so I'm super excited to share this with y'all. I've actually had this bucket for a while, but due to extremely cold temperatures, snow, ice, everything else down here, I haven't had an opportunity to run water lines, which is what we're doing today, tapping into some water lines and running all the way out to my barn that has no water where I desperately need it. All right, so in the past, I've rented ditch witches. We just trenched a bunch of power lines and stuff over here on the back side of the house, and I have almost 2,000 feet of electrical and water trenches to do here at the property and another piece of property. So renting a ditch witch over and over and over was starting to get very expensive. So I looked for other options, and I had no idea a trenching bucket for an excavator even existed. So this is a trenching bucket from a company called Rhinox. You can't see the tag here on the side because of the sun, and they offer several different models. This is the 3-inch wide trenching bucket. They have a 4, I think a 5, and up to a 6, depending on what size lines that you're running. Being that the majority of what I run is electrical lines, I wanted the smallest one they had. I run 1-inch water lines everywhere. Only at one time in the future coming up will I have to run some 4-inch sewer line, and I bet this still works, because you'll notice as I go back and keep cleaning a ditch out, you make it slightly wider than the bucket. So I think we're going to be okay to even run some small sewer line with this. Now there's one specific reason I really wanted the 3-inch version. This one has a heavy duty reinforced tip right here. You can see where it's welded on. This is supposed to be long lasting, very durable. It's extremely thick. So if you get into rock, hard ground, busting up clay like we'll be doing occasionally, that should eat right through it. I really like that design over the other models, but obviously you would just get in size to whatever size that you need for what you run. And then of course you get whatever size mounting plate. So whenever you call Rhinox and order your trenching bucket, by the way, they have all kinds of buckets, regular buckets, grading buckets, tilt buckets, not just trenching buckets. But you get whatever mount you need for your machine. I have a Bobcat E35 here. This is a Bobcat mount with these little ears to pick it up. So that's what I ordered mine with, and that's what they sent out. Now you're gonna see it's got cutouts to help relieve compacted dirt. But what you're gonna find, especially on the extremely narrow ones, is they do occasionally pack with dirt. I can take a crowbar and knock it out. But what I have also found is, it honestly doesn't matter. Just keep digging. You're not necessarily scooping loose sand and all. This is going to be wet, compact ground, clay. Just keep scooping and pulling, and it rolls the dirt to either side, even when the bucket's compacted. And lastly, it's worth mentioning, I will put a link down in the description if you want to go check out their website. If you have a mini excavator or excavator about any size, they have a whole smorgasbord of different types of buckets, including these very unique trenching buckets. All right, so this is the closest water line that I have to that barn. We have to do 400 feet of plumbing. I've done mapped it out, ordered some in. So I'm just gonna come in off the bottom right here, remove this insulation, do a cutoff valve, because I do want to be able to cut off during times of winter and drain the line going all the way out there. No point in having an exposed line that could bust on me. So I'm gonna hand dig up right here. We're gonna put this cutoff valve in a T. I load up a lot of equipment out there, keep my excavator and buckets out there. I'm always coming home with mud, clay, and dirt on it, and I have no way to clean my equipment out there or wash anything down, wash my hands when I'm working. So this is something I've been needing to do for a while. Let's get to work. All right, I know it's hard to see with the shading, but y'all, you talk about a quick trench. That was just, what, a minute or so to get there. So this is definitely not as quick as, say, renting a ditch witch, but that's aside the point. I don't want to have to go rent a ditch witch no more. Already on this machine, this is awesome. No moving parts, really nothing to break as long as you use it correctly. By the way, that's not for digging out stumps or roots or anything like that. It's for trenching. So I got about a 1 foot deep trench, maybe a little deeper in spots, and I'm just rolling with it. This is also a good time to mention, we're in Florida, no frost line. I don't have to go no deeper for a water line. The electrical lines that I was running yesterday was 24 inches deep. That's around 24 to 26 inches. And realistically, I was digging a little deeper than that yesterday as well, but it's rated for around 2 foot deep. They do have some other models as well. But for quickly knocking out 1 inch lines, this dirt's holding together much better than that sandy stuff that I had yesterday. We're gonna be able to fly out to the shop with this. All right, so take a look at that. 400 feet from there, all the way back down to there. I forgot to time it, and I really should have, y'all. Just a few minutes. Like, again, is this as fast as a ditch witch? No. But if you already own a mini excavator, how easy is it to throw a lightweight bucket that you can actually pick up by hand on your trailer, go to a job site, and you don't need a whole nother many $1,000 machine. This knocked it out so fast. So check that out. As long as you got a little moisture in your soil, I'm not finding I'm having caving in issues, stuff staying nice and packed. So I kind of got me a routine figured out as I was going. It's better to start out shallow and kind of flip and roll the grass clumps out, and then come back and make another 2 quick digs, going a little deeper, pulling the dirt out, you know, back your machine up and start all over again and dig another 8 or 10 feet. Oh, something else worth mentioning. So whenever I decided I wanted a 3-inch version and place my order, it come out of Alabama. So it's right here in the States. It wasn't from overseas. I wasn't sure about that. And I got this on a box truck on a pallet in like 2 to 3 days, super quick. All right, so now we're at the end, and let me show you a little trick This is why it's really nice to get an excavator with a side boom. My boom can swing and I don't have to swing the house. So now I can come up to a ditch like this instead of straddling it like I was, dig up to this pole where we're gonna run the PVC, but I don't have to cross the ditch, caving it all in. So I'm just gonna swing this boom and kind of just dig from the side, then I can back up out of the way. That side boom swing on an excavator works really good. So if you're working up next to, say, a dock, a walkway, a house wall, something like that, you can pull up to it and then work either direction, but you can work much steeper this direction. So if you're shopping for a mini excavator, I know a lot of y'all are, I get emails and questions all the time, consider getting one with this little side boom. I didn't think it's something I'd ever use because I don't really go do construction work around a home, but it works. So watch this. Now I can just rotate this over and actually dig this way right here without having my machine straddling. It really does help out. And having this long boom really helps out too. Takes some getting used to digging like this, that's for sure. All right, so we're officially all glued up. I've let the glue set up for a couple hours, and now we're gonna do the walk down and leak check. So I've got the valve cracked way back over there, hose run over there, and I'm just purging the air out of the system. There we go. Now we've officially got water coming. So we're gonna close this up, let this build up with water pressure. I'm gonna walk everything down, check all the joints. There's a pile of them. And if everything looks good, start covering this up and then go over some final thoughts for this setup right here for trenching. All right, well, how about this? This is exactly one of the reasons that I need water down here, to clean up equipment like this, clean hands. This is awesome. And of course, this whole job was made so much quicker and easier by this attachments right here. I am so happy to have this Rhinox trenching bucket, and I've got so many more jobs lined up ahead for this thing right here. Now, I understand everybody may not have a mini excavator, so obviously this wouldn't make sense to you. Renting a ditch witch and all would make more sense. But I can tell you one thing, my days of digging by hand are over, especially when I wasn't joking. Counting today, I can think of a couple thousand feet of trenches that I have, and there's always more. I have probably dug a mile or more of trenches in my lifetime just on the few properties that I've owned. And now that I've got a 1-inch water line all the way out here, I like to do mine a little larger. I'm tempted to go ahead and trench and run right down into my food plot right here. So if I need to run sprinklers or do a little watering, I've got the option to run water down there as well. And one other thing I forgot to mention, these notches and cutouts in the side, you can actually use those for measuring your depth that you're digging. I found that quite useful today too, if you have a certain range that you want to stay in and not use the full 24 inches. All right, y'all, we got a lot more jobs, already some going on in the background for this. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.